Tonight, the dramatic scene at the FBI field office in Atlanta. A man rams his vehicle into the entrance gate. What we are learning about what happened. Plus, tonight, millions of Americans on alert for tornadoes, damaging wind, and flooding. Rob Marciano times it all out for us. And
when we went back and picked up Christopher's ashes, I stopped at the store where he bought it. And I asked him if he recognized Christopher because I had his picture. He said, yeah. I said, you buy some of this stuff? And pointed to the tea and Neptune. He said, I said, he's dead.
It's being called gas station heroin, and it is still legal in some states. Medical experts say it can have devastating health consequences. In tonight's Prime Focus, our in-depth look at the toll some say it has taken on their families. Good evening, everyone. I'm Ariel Reshef in for Lindsay Davis. Thanks so much for streaming with us. We are following those stories and much more, including 2 decisions involving abortion rights and the major implications both could have in a battleground state this November. Plus, tonight, the Super Bowl champion who may be connected with street racing a Lamborghini on a Dallas highway. And a massive data breach affecting 73 million Americans. What you need to know and tips to protect your identity online. But we do begin tonight with that alarming scene outside of Atlanta this afternoon. A driver ramming an SUV into the front gate of the FBI field office. Officials say the driver refused to stop and tried to follow an authorized vehicle as it entered that gate. Tonight, the driver of that vehicle is in custody as authorities investigate a possible motive. But the incident raising alarm about possible threats to agencies in recent years. ABC's senior national correspondent Steve Osunsami leads us off.
The driver of this orange SUV is in a world of trouble tonight after trying to follow a vehicle into the gates of Atlanta's FBI main office north of the city. It was just after noon, and authorities say the driver with South Carolina plates would not stop, and security had to use a pop-up physical barrier to block the SUV, smashing the vehicle. Guards say the driver got out of the car and was quickly arrested without incident. He was transported to a hospital downtown.
Several of our special agents who were passing by apprehended him. This time we were looking at both state and federal charges.
Authorities at this point don't think that this was terrorism, but the investigation is early and they're still digging. The FBI has been particularly concerned about possible threats to the agency in the last few years.
So it sort of opens the door as to what is this really? Is this an attempt to harm the FBI or someone at the FBI? Is this a person who has mental health challenges? Perhaps has substance abuse issues, got disoriented. We'll have to see how this sorts out.
They say that the agents with their robot, who are seen here looking through the vehicle and a trunk that was inside the SUV, did so as a precaution and found no weapons and no explosives. They say no one was hurt.
Still so many questions, and Steve Osunsami joining us now. And Steve, what do we know about the driver's condition tonight?
Well, authorities aren't saying a ton. They're telling us that we'll probably get a name from the DeKalb Police Department once he makes his first appearance. One thing they are saying is that after he was taken from this area right behind me, they transported him downtown to Grady Memorial Hospital for what they're calling, quote, an evaluation. Ariel?
Got to fill in a lot of blanks here. Steve Osunsami, we appreciate you. Now to that major spring storm on the move tonight. 40 million Americans from Texas to West Virginia face the threat of hail, tornadoes, and flooding. Severe storms causing flash flooding in Montecito, California, and washing out part of the Pacific Coast Highway before heading east. Senior meteorologist Rob Marciano is tracking that system. And Rob, time this out for us.
Well, that system, Ariel, as you know, is really developing into something that's going to bring some dangerous weather to much of the Midwest and into the Northeast, really, over the next 60-plus hours. We've got tornado watches that are posted. Several of them right now include St. Louis. We got flood watches to our east, and then down and through northern parts of Texas. This system will intensify tonight. It'll crank up the level jet, and that's when the tornado watch or threat will increase. Oklahoma City, Kansas City, and here in St. Louis. And then tomorrow, kind of a northern jet dips in, amplifies everything. It's going to push the rain off towards the northeast. northeast again. It'll stretch the severe weather threat and damaging hail and damaging winds down all the way to the Gulf Coast. But the tornado threat looks to be centered right around much of Ohio. Strong, long-track tornadoes possible tomorrow afternoon and evening. Another dangerous day. And then on Wednesday, it all develops into this massive cold core system, which means snow will be wrapping around and through parts of Chicago. Probably not much in the way of accumulation there. Cold rain in New York on Wednesday, and then turning to snow as far south as New York City. Maybe, a couple of flakes there, but a couple of feet potentially across upstate New York and northern New England come Friday morning. But for now, Ariel, all eyes are in the Midwest tonight and tomorrow for the potential of dangerous storms coming.
Definitely
Ariel?
have to remain vigilant, Rob, and I am done with the snow. I don't know about you. It's not done with us yet. Thank you.
You bet.
Now to breaking news out of Florida. The state Supreme Court, in a major ruling, has paved the way for the state's new 6-week abortion ban to go into effect. But the court also signaled they will give voters the final say on the matter in November. Let's bring in ABC's Rachel Scott. And Rachel, this could have major implications for the presidential election in November.
Yeah, Ariel, it certainly could. So these were two separate decisions. On one hand, you had the Florida State Supreme Court clearing the way for one of the strictest abortion bans in the nation to go into effect, banning abortion at just 6 weeks into a woman's pregnancy. That is before most women even know that they are pregnant. And then on the other hand, that same court issuing a decision that will put this issue directly on the ballot for voters in November, allowing Florida voters to weigh in and decide whether they want to protect access to abortion up until viability, which is considered to be around 24 weeks into a woman's pregnancy. As you said, this could have major political implications. We know that abortion rights has won in all 6 states where it has appeared on the ballot, including in conservative states like Ohio, Kansas, and Kentucky. And that raises real questions about whether Florida could now be in play for President Biden, Ariel.
Yeah, and Rachel, let's talk about the real concerns for so many women in Florida tonight. Abortions are all but banned, and that's the reality across the entire South. So serious high stakes here.
High stakes indeed. And look, the reality is that even though this is not an outright ban, the new reality for women in this state is that if they want an abortion, they are going to have to drive hundreds of miles in order to get one. And that's if they can afford to even travel out of state. So many women that are living in parts of this state do not even have the means for that even to be an option. And when you look at the map to see just how many states have banned abortion, there is now sweeping restrictions across much of the South, Ariel.
Rachel, I know you've been talking to women across this country and will continue to do so. We appreciate you. Thanks so much. Former President Donald Trump's media company losing $2 billion in value on paper after it was revealed how much the company lost last year. Just days after going public, the stock falling 20% today and the warning about its future. Here's ABC's senior investigative correspondent Aaron Katursky.
Tonight, stock in Donald Trump's media company tanking after Trump's social media platform Truth Social reported losing $58 million last year. The company was valued at nearly $10 billion after it went public last week as Trump supporters rushed to scoop up shares.
The stock has gone through the roof. And really, this is, I think, in the true sense, this is really it's a great sign of where the people in this country stand.
Trump's own majority stake then worth close to $6 billion.
Truth Social is doing very well. It's hot as a pistol and doing great.
But today, that rude awakening, the revelation of last year's losses sent the stock plunging more than 20% and the value of Trump's own stake losing more than $1 billion.
To be clear, Ariel, Trump's stake in his social media company is still worth more than $3 billion, at least on paper. But tonight there is a real question about Trump media's ability to even survive. An auditor's quoted in a regulatory filing as saying that $58 million net operating loss from last year raises substantial doubt about Trump media's ability to be a viable company going forward. Ariel?
Aaron Katursky, our thanks to you. Now to the race to open the Patapsco River after the collapse of the Key Bridge in Baltimore. Welders over the weekend cutting away a 200-ton piece of that bridge, then successfully lifting it off. 50 ships, including 7 floating cranes, are working on the response, but it is a delicate operation to keep that cargo ship from spilling its containers into the river and making things a lot worse. ABC's senior national correspondent Terry Moran is on the scene.
Tonight, perched on giant cranes above the collapsed bridge and using powerful thermal saws, demolition crews cut and removed the first major piece of debris, more than 200 tons, 440,000 pounds.
We're talking about something that is almost the size of the Statue of Liberty.
The crews must painstakingly clear the entire span of the destroyed Francis Scott Key Bridge, piece by piece. But officials are now saying that under those murky waters, divers can't see a foot in front of them. And with the chaotic wreckage, all that mangled, intertwined steel above and below the waterline, the site is a safety nightmare.
Every time someone goes in the water, they are taking a risk. Every time we move a piece of the structure, the situation could become even more dangerous. We have to move fast, but we cannot be careless.
And that's actually just a small step forward in this monumental operation. Another milestone, workers opened a temporary 11-foot deep shipping channel, clearing a path for emergency and some small commercial vessels to use the harbor again.
A shred of good news, but still some painstaking work ahead. And Terry joins us now from the scene where you have been for days now. And Terry, is there any timeline for removing the bridge and fully reopening the river?
Ariel, the short answer is no. Officials here made clear today that that work out there is harder, more dangerous, and will take longer than even they originally thought. Months, probably, until the Port of Baltimore is fully reopened, maybe more. And on Friday, President Biden will come here to see it for himself. Ariel?
A lot of people will be looking to that visit for some comfort. Terry, thank you. Turning now to disgraced former attorney Alec Murdaugh, already serving 2 life sentences for killing his wife and his son. Now he has been sentenced to another 40 years in prison for financial crimes. Murdaugh pleading guilty to 22 federal charges, including bank fraud and money laundering. According to the Department of Justice, he stole millions of dollars in settlements from clients who had sought the help of his personal injury law firm in South Carolina. Kansas City Chiefs wide receiver Rashee Rice is part of a police investigation after a chain reaction crash was caught on camera. It showed the driver and passengers in both vehicles leaving the scene. ABC's Maria Villarreal has details from Dallas tonight.
Tonight, dash camera video capturing this high-speed crash on a Dallas highway.
We have 2 subjects that fled from the scene.
Now, Kansas City Chiefs wide receiver Rashee Rice is being sought in connection with the accident, according to Dallas ABC station WFAA sources. The 23-year-old recently won the Super Bowl and was a second-round draft pick last year. 2 drivers, one in a Corvette and one in a Lamborghini, seen speeding, hitting the center median and losing control Saturday evening. A cascade of hits involving 6 vehicles, 4 people treated for minor injuries, including Kayla Quinn and her 4-year-old son.
The impact was pretty hard. I got hit on my driver's side. My son, he's very scared. He's shaking uncontrollably.
Authorities say the occupants of the Corvette and Lamborghini all ran from the scene without stopping to determine if anyone needed medical help. TMZ Sports sharing this photo as they walk down the busy highway shoulder. Sources telling ABC News the Corvette is registered under Rice's name and some of his NFL gear was allegedly found inside. According to Texas law, leaving the scene of an accident involving injury could be a crime.
They all walked off together, which means there was a relationship between the 2 cars. So that may also add to the element or seriousness of the charges.
Certainly serious. And Maria joins us now. Maria, has Rice responded to these charges?
You know, Ariel, the short answer to that is sort of. We did hear from his attorney late today. He basically said that his client is cooperating with local authorities to try and address the situation responsibly, but didn't give a whole lot of detail into what exactly that means. We also know that the Chiefs president at this point has spoken to a local radio station, and he basically said they are gathering facts right now, and they will also respond accordingly once they know everything about what happened on that day. Ariel?
That investigation continues. Maria, thank you. Tonight, authorities are investigating the death of 35-year-old former NFL star Vontae Davis in Davie, Florida, outside of Miami. Police say he was found dead in his home, possibly suffering a medical emergency. Authorities do not suspect foul play here. A 2-time Pro Bowl cornerback, Davis played 10 seasons, mostly with the Dolphins and the Colts. He abruptly retired at halftime of a game while playing for the Bills in 2018. Two people have been charged in New York in the death of a transgender activist, Cecilia Gentili. The two men are accused of allegedly supplying and selling heroin and fentanyl to Gentili before she fatally overdosed in her home February 6th. The Argentinian immigrant was a fierce advocate for other immigrants, the transgender community, sex workers, and people living with HIV. Now to the urgent search for two Oklahoma mothers who vanished on the way to pick up their children. The car they were driving was found abandoned about 40 miles away from their destination, and authorities believe the women may be in danger. ABC's Victor Okendo has the latest.
Tonight, the urgent search along the Kansas-Oklahoma border for two missing mothers who vanished the day before Easter while driving to pick up children.
They're gone. And nobody knows where they exactly went.
39-year-old Jillian Kelly, the wife of a pastor at First Christian Church in Hugoton, Kansas, was traveling with 27-year-old Veronica Butler. According to Butler's church, the two women were on their way to get Butler's children for a birthday party, but they never made the pickup.
It appears that this was not a willing incident on their own to have taken off. It looks to be that there's something more involved.
Butler's blue Kia found abandoned on the side of the road about 40 miles away in rural Texas County, Oklahoma.
There's every reason to believe that they could be in danger.
At an Easter service, prayers for their safe return.
We're going to wrap our arms around the Kelly family. We're going to love them. Lord, we lift up Jillian, we lift up Veronica, we pray for their safety.
The pastor at Butler's church saying that the women were more like acquaintances than friends. Tonight, their community praying for their safe return. Ariel?
Everybody thinking about them. Victor, thank you. Turning now to that massive AT&T data breach. The company says information from some 73 million current and former customers recently turned up on the dark web. Information like social security numbers, passcodes, and emails. Joining us now is Dr. Chris Pearson, CEO of Black Cloak, a cybersecurity company that specializes in protecting personal information for the rich and famous in this digital world that we live in. Thank you so much for joining us.
It's great to be here.
Chris, we know AT&T is investigating if that data originated from the company or from one of its vendors, but how does something like this happen? I mean, you have millions of customers who don't find out that their data was compromised until the information was actually leaked online.
Yeah, so the bottom line is, regardless of where the actual information came from, whether it was a direct breach of AT&T systems or of one of their vendors and third parties, at some point in time, it is AT&T customer data. They're responsible, they're accountable for a few different things. Number one, for publicly announcing it. Two, for going ahead and notifying those customers that may or might be impacted and advising them on steps that they need to take to go ahead and mitigate their risks. And three, of course, in terms of trying to figure out and triage what actually happened, what broke, what were the problems that happened, that occurred, that allowed this data to be out there in the wild. And so really kind of taking a reactive response to that issue.
73 million customers is just massive. Given past breaches, what percentage of them might actually have their personal information used by these bad actors for nefarious purposes?
Well, what's interesting is that all of the different phone companies and phone carriers, they still to this day are doing credit checks on people. So they're getting their social security numbers and full date of birth. We can confirm, because Black Cloak has reached out to thousands of its own clients, that social security numbers are a part of this file, that they are there, that they are in a format that has been used by cyber criminals. And so really the biggest issue here is going to be identity theft for those information. Those persons have name, address, date of birth, social security number. You can apply for credit, get credit in a name, open a bank account. You can cause direct identity theft to those potential customers or former customers of AT&T. So this is really kind of the treasure mine for them.
And we as consumers, of course, now need to be heightened and be reading all of our statements. We've seen so many data breaches. As someone who helps protect celebrities from cyber attacks, what's one of the best tips that you can share on how you can protect your digital footprint, your identity?
Yeah, so in terms of identity protection, really it starts with the fact of not needing access to your credit. So freezing your credit. If you freeze your credit with the three major credit reporting agencies, Experian, Equifax, and TransUnion, then no one can apply for credit in your name. If you think that you might have been impacted by this breach. If you had an AT&T account, put a fraud alert on your account, which means there's enhanced due diligence in that credit check process. So any new bank, any new credit card, anyone that is looking to extend credit to you has to do enhanced due diligence on you to make sure that it is you. And quite simply, cyber criminals may move on to another easier victim than yourself when they're thinking about identity theft. But this is going to cause implications for all 73 million of those individuals and really impact them.
That is really great, tangible advice. So what are the biggest mistakes that you see people make when it comes to risking their information?
So a few different things. Number one, in terms of on the personal side, if you don't think you need to provide it, don't. In many cases, you're landlocked. Phone carriers ask for social security numbers, so you provide it for them so you can get your account issued. Make sure you're not carrying those pieces of identification with you. And then finally, especially in terms of this, make sure that your AT&T account is hardened. So log back in with your username, password. Go ahead and change that password. Make sure that you have phone selections and have chosen selections on that AT&T account that prevent SIM swapping, SIM changes, or port forwarding. If you have any questions whatsoever on those latter items, go to your nearest AT&T store or call AT&T so you can make sure that your cell phone account, your carrier account, is hardened and not going to be used further in terms of cybercrime.
Dr. Chris Pearson, really appreciate your time and your insight. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Concern growing in Puerto Rico as dengue fever has been declared an epidemic after a dramatic spike in cases there. According to the health department, the U.S. territory of 3.2 million people has reported at least 549 cases this year alone, with more than 340 people hospitalized because of the mosquito-borne illness. Health officials say that more rainfall, along with humidity and heat linked to climate change, are contributing to the rise in cases. And there's still much more to get to here on Prime. Progress against paralysis, the breakthrough study that is revealing a way to possibly improve movement and sensation for people living with spinal cord injuries. But next, you can find it on the shelves of almost any convenience store, but the FDA is urging consumers not to ingest it. In tonight's Prime Focus, a closer look at what's being called gas station heroin and how some people say it has damaged lives.
When I started doing them, I was like, there's no way that they're this bad for you if they're selling them over the counter.
Whenever news breaks,
we are here in Israel, a nation at war after that brutal surprise attack by Hamas.
On the ground in Ukraine, reporting from Lewiston, Maine.
The scene of a horrific mass shooting.
ABC News Live is right there everywhere.
From the scene of that deadly missile strike in Dnipro, Ukraine.
Reporting from the earthquake in Turkey.
In Rolling Fork, this tornado tore through this little town.
From the most devastating disaster in Hawaii.
From Charleston, South Carolina, on the 2024 campaign trail.
In Iceland, let's go.
Traveling with the president in Mexico City.
Wherever the story.
From the front lines, from southern Israel.
Outside the Gaza Strip.
In Beirut.
From the FBI.
Reporting from the nurses on the picket line.
Here at 10 Downing Street in London.
Streaming live to you.
Wherever the story is.
Wherever the story is.
Wherever the story is, we're going to take you there.
You're streaming.
ABC News Live.
ABC News Live.
You're streaming ABC News Live.
ABC News Live. Streaming free everywhere. America's #1 streaming news. Next Monday afternoon,
I'm looking up,
all eyes to the sky for a total solar eclipse, a breathtaking celestial event. ABC News, together with National Geographic, with ABC's David Muir and Lindsay Davis reporting. Watch it all on ABC News Live, National Geographic Channel, Nat Geo Wild, Disney Plus, Hulu, and live on ABC. Eclipse across America, next Monday afternoon, starting at 2 p.m. Eastern. What does it take to be the most watched newscast in America?
We are part of an operation.
Is this our Combat Operations Center?
We're approaching the gate. Militants came in from different directions. Nuclear reactor. So you have a couple loaded and ready to go. The house is destroyed, but the flag...
Not a carry in it.
How important it made to USA.
Great work. Hi, appreciate you.
Thank you.
Ismail?
David.
David.
I'm David Muir.
I know who you are. I watch you every night.
ABC's World News Tonight with David Muir is America's most watched newscast.
Interrogations are a slow burn.
You ready to tell me what happened?
Question after question, hour after hour.
You can see the click, 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 click. So many people that step into the box, they think they're going to talk their way out of it. But They're walking him down the path of confession.
When he finally broke, it was surreal.
Oh my God.
Interrogation tapes premieres tonight on ABC.
Can you believe it? It's 25 years of breakfast in bed, surprising moms across America.
Oh my goodness.
And for our 25th anniversary, we're making it the biggest surprise yet.
A full-on breakfast in bed extravaganza like you have never seen before.
So go to goodmorningamerica.com or scan this QR code to find out how to enter a deserving mom you love for breakfast in bed.
Somewhere near the painkillers and cold medicine, you may see another substance at your local convenience store, tianeptine. The FDA urging consumers not to use it, but it is still legal in many states and available at some smoke shops and gas stations. According to America's Poison Control Centers, reported cases of exposure skyrocketed in the course of a decade, from 4 in 2013 to 391 last year. ABC's Rena Roy takes a deeper look at what's being called gas station heroin and the toll some families say it is taken on them.
Why would they put something in a gas station or a store that you could just go in and purchase? It's very invigorating. It's a distraction from reality.
It claims to promote relaxation and euphoria, an alluring promise. With so many options of tianeptine to choose from, whether it's at your local convenience store, smoke shop, or even online,
there's so many different kinds.
Does this substance live up to its claim?
It's absolutely not happiness in a bottle.
Tianeptine, now banned in at least 9 states, earning the nickname gas station heroin for its opioid-like effects. We chatted with a few former manufacturers of the most popular brands of tianeptine.
And he says, like kratom, the ability to overdose is almost impossible with tianeptine, and the news agencies making all these death claims are simply lies.
None of the manufacturers would go on camera with us out of fear of retaliation, but insist the product is safe, helpful even.
Some people say that tianeptine can actually help keep people off of opioids. It's a very dangerous line of thinking.
We just pulled into our hometown.
Yeah. There's a lot of memories here in Pinson, Alabama for Christy Terry.
He was constantly playing pranks on people.
In the passenger seat and brimming with pride for her son Jonathan as his childhood friend Lucy drives, recalling his bright future. At 19 years old, Jonathan, with a full ride at the University of Alabama at Birmingham, was studying business and theater, working in real estate, close to getting licensed. A goofball, and big brother to his 2 sisters, his own unique style, and a favorite color, teal. The avid skateboarder always wearing 2 chains, and this ring engraved with crosses.
Jonathan's always had very strong faith in God. He loved going and serving the homeless every Sunday. For years, he did that.
It's a ring Christy now wears after Jonathan, who was known to suffer from migraines, came down with an especially bad one in February of 2019. She says he went to a nearby gas station looking for something to soothe his symptoms.
So why do you think he ended up buying tianeptine that day?
He told his dad that they had recommended him to him. So I got out of bed and went to Jonathan's room. And he was on the bed, and he still had his computer up, and he had a plate with pizza rolls on it in the bed next to him, and it was like he was in a deep sleep. We didn't know at the time, but he was already gone.
Over the course of the night, Jonathan had taken 12 of the 15 pills in that bottle of tianeptine. The bottle suggested only 2 pills a day.
All I knew that he had took them pills for a headache, but I had no idea that they would have took his life.
And to your knowledge, he had never taken any drugs before?
No.
The autopsy report shows he'd choked on his own vomit. In his system, prescription medication for preventing migraines and seizures, and a high level of tianeptine. The medical examiner wrote that while there was no way of knowing what actually killed him, he'd seen a similar amount of tianeptine in someone else's system before. That person also died. Bedridden with grief for months, one of her first big outings, a trip to Montgomery, coming face to face with the owner of Tiana, the brand of tianeptine Jonathan had taken.
I have spoke to one fine lady here up front who's a poor mother that her son's passed away, and it breaks my heart.
He tried to say that that my son probably had some kind of underlying allergy to his supplement.
There are other people that are benefiting from this product, and to just turn around and start banning products without having solid meaning behind it, then where does it stop?
At the University of Alabama at Birmingham, the school Jonathan attended, Dr. William Rushton, who specializes in emerging drugs of abuse, says he finds tianeptine contains few upsides with easy potential for addiction.
Tianeptine is used as an antidepressant in other countries. However, the more we learned about it is really, it turns out that it hits the same receptors that opioids hit.
Tianeptine now banned in Alabama, no longer available in convenience stores. But until 2023, in neighboring Mississippi, sales continued. This is one of the few videos Tracy Harper Morrison has of her 29-year-old son, Christopher. He died almost exactly 4 years after Jonathan.
I remember him telling me that he felt closest to God outdoors. Nature, he loved nature. He played guitar, he loved his guitar.
And you said one of the songs that you used to sing with him was You Are My Sunshine.
I tell him to play me something calm, and he just kind of pick it out.
He and his sister were close. They both struggled with addiction to tianeptine. Christopher seeking a way to fight his depression. And while struggling with cravings last February, his mom gave him a pep talk.
I told him I was going to cash app him some money and said, go downstairs. There's a coffee shop under the house. I said, go downstairs. Just sit there and enjoy being around people.
It would be the last time she'd hear from him, finding him in his apartment days later.
And I went inside, and there he was. He'd been there a couple of days. I laid down with him, and I scratched his back, and I rubbed his hair. He always wanted me to play with my hair, Mom. I scratched my back, and I did. One last time, and I gave him back to God.
The toxicology report came back. Tianeptine was in his system.
When we went back and picked up Christopher's ashes, I stopped at the store where he bought it, and I asked him if he recognized Christopher because I had his picture. He said, yeah. I said, he buy some of this stuff? And pointed to the tianeptine. He said, yeah. I said, he's dead.
Even a child could go to a convenience store and purchase the substance. So I had to educate many of my colleagues about what it was.
Months later, tianeptine would be banned in Mississippi. Christopher's mother and grandmother standing next to the governor for the bill's signing.
It was a bittersweet day. His death will actually help to save lives in the future.
At our nation's capital, a bipartisan group of 5 representatives sent a letter to the FDA calling for a more national approach to see if tianeptine should be reclassified under the Controlled Substances Act. We reached out to the FDA asking if it plans to toughen regulation towards tianeptine or kratom, a similar product widely sold. It said in part, we've issued warning letters to companies unlawfully marketing kratom and tianeptine products as dietary supplements and drugs. We will continue to collaborate with federal partners to engage proactively in meaningful research to advance science-based regulatory decision-making.
When do you feel like you'll be able to rest?
Oh, I won't rest until it is banned nationally.
But for now, a simple search showed us how easy it still is to buy tianeptine online. And even with a quick trip to a New York City smoke shop.
You had this new car and you racked up a ton of miles because you were driving all the way from Alabama to Mississippi where it wasn't banned.
I had about 40,000 miles on the car. About a year and a few months later, we had 80,000 miles. So in a little over a year, we put 40,000 miles on that car.
Hannah Gilliam is now 2 years sober from tianeptine.
You know, I was going through $50 a day if I was taking 2 bottles a day, so $350 a week.
What did those withdrawal symptoms feel like?
It was miserable. I have withdrawed from heroin. I've withdrawed from pain pills. I've withdrawn, you know, pain pills that were come with fentanyl, and they don't even measure close to what those withdrawals from tianeptine felt like.
Was it surprising to you that withdrawal could be that severe, even compared to heroin?
When I started doing them, I was like, there's no way that they're this bad for you if they're selling them over the counter. I didn't think that I would live to see 21. I was either going to stay in active addiction until I died or not be alive for my 21st.
Hannah, now 22 years old and in nursing school, strengthened by her faith, grateful for a new beginning.
My flowers in the dog. It gives me a sense of peace being able to decorate it, because I feel like that's still me being able to mother him. But it gives me a sense of still being able to take care of him.
No mother should ever have to put their child, and no friend should have to come and visit a grave.
I don't want any other mother to go through what I'm going through, because it's a pain like nothing else. I love you.
Raising such important awareness, we are thinking of that family. And we still have much more to get to here on Prime. Coming up, moments of terror swinging dozens of feet in the air. A skier who survived this tense ski lift talks about his experience in 60-mile-per-hour winds. But next, feeling like you might have too much time to spare? How many leisure hours Americans are racking up and what they're doing to fill the void. We take a look by the numbers.
People really want to know what it feels like to be a photographer.
Right shoulder down. There we go.
It's this yin-yang of danger and this incredible raw beauty.
That's his first breath. That's so cool.
All right, this is it.
These moments that you immortalize makes a lot of difference.
There's a masterpiece everywhere.
National forests are good places to get away, but sometimes bad things happen in good places.
It's the stuff of nightmares.
All I could see was their feet sticking up. My knees went weak.
This is a human skull.
We were definitely against the clock.
How many more victims are out there?
Wild Crime at Blood Mountain. Now streaming only on Hulu.
You should see me in the crowd. Gonna run this nothing down. That's what I'm talking about. One.
The strongest females fight for the survival of their families. Oh, hey, the queens.
You should see me in the crowd.
First thing in the morning.
There's a lot going on.
Yet another avalanche warning that's up.
To catch you up with what happened overnight. A dangerous ice storm is impacting the morning commute.
What's happening today? Escalating tensions in the Middle East.
What people are talking about, the migrant crisis.
Fast, straightforward.
With some fun in between.
How does billionaire sound?
Sounds good to me. The moose started chasing a dog.
First thing in the morning.
America This Morning.
America's #1 early morning news.
On ABC News Live.
Real Housewives of Beverly Hills star Erica Jane.
Celebrity attorney Tom Girardi.
This story was a nuclear explosion.
Today, several victims will get a chance to finally meet Erica Girardi.
I'm at sort of a loss for what to say. Did you see the documentary? The Housewife and the Hustler? I did.
I wanted Erica to say, I'm sorry, face to face.
Erica, why did it take you so long? The Housewife and the Hustler 2.
only on Hulu.
Why do so many people start their day here?
From ABC News, this is Start Here.
To be in the know and get a different take on the day's top stories.
A lot of news today, so let's get into it.
Listen now to the Daily News Podcast honored with 4 Edward R. Murrow Awards and see why the New York Times calls it a news podcast worth listening to. Start Here, ABC News. Make it your daily first listen.
Now, that's a part of the story I bet you didn't see coming.
Wherever you get your podcasts, start here.
It's lunchtime in America, so what are we serving up?
Well, how about everything you need to know?
You know, that sounds pretty good.
Give it to me.
Your health, your money, breaking news, pop culture, with the biggest stars, music, trends, and of course, good food. GMA 3, what you need to know. A third hour of GMA in the afternoon.
So join us, afternoons.
For everything you need to know. I love that.
Reporting from the campaign trail here in South Carolina, I'm Rachel Scott. Wherever the story is, we'll take you there. You're streaming ABC News Live.
As we get more daylight this time of year, some Americans are trying to find ways to fill those extra hours with something other than work. Enter the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics and their time use survey, which shows we might have more leisure time than we think. Sounds nice. It's tonight's By the Numbers. As of 2022, men spent an average of 5.6 hours each day engaged in a leisure activity. Women spent an average of just 4.8 hours each day engaged in leisure because, yes, women still bear the brunt of the housework and child rearing. A little more than 50% of that free time is spent, no surprise here, watching TV on one of your devices. We have more leisure time because we don't work nearly as much as we used to. Might sound surprising. One study showing that we work 12% fewer hours today than we did in 1950. Still, Americans have an average of only 20 to 25 paid days off each year, which includes vacations and holidays. By comparison, workers in Europe and Scandinavia have an average of 30 to 35 paid days off each year. And psychologists say if you feel you're not getting the most out of your leisure time, you're probably spending too much time, yes, in front of your screen. People who engage in actual hobbies report being much happier. And we have much more to get to here on Prime, including a new viral TikTok diet trend. It's called Oat Zempic. Is it for real or is it just a fad? Plus, she is one of the most decorated U.S. Olympic gymnasts of all time. Now, celebrated athlete Aly Raisman is inspiring young hearts and minds with her self-love children's book. My conversation with her is coming up next.
Whenever, wherever news breaks, it's so important to always remember that lives are changed. Here in London, in Buffalo, Uvalde, Texas,
Edinburgh, Scotland, from Poland once again tonight. Thank you so much for streaming with us. Ukrainian refugees here in Warsaw. Do you think you'll ever be able to go back home?
We're heading to a small community outside of Mexico City.
Splintered houses and splintered lives. The magnitude of the devastation. You're streaming ABC News Live. Reporting from Rolling Fork, Mississippi. Santa Fe, New Mexico. Raleigh, North Carolina. The U.S. Capitol. Mayfield, Kentucky.
Minneapolis,
Mexico. Tongass National Forest, Alaska.
Getting you behind the stories as they happen, giving you a front row seat to our world as it plays out in real time, live.
ABC News Live Prime. We'll take you there.
Stream ABC News Live weeknights, America's most honored streaming news program, only on ABC News Live. Streaming free right now wherever you stream your news.
First thing in the morning.
There's a lot going on.
Yet another avalanche warning that's up.
To catch you up with what happened overnight. A dangerous ice storm is impacting the morning commute.
What's happening today? Escalating tensions in the Middle East.
What people are talking about, the migrant crisis.
Fast, straightforward.
With some fun in between.
How does billionaire sound?
Sounds good to me. The moose started chasing a dog.
First thing in the morning.
America This Morning.
America's #1 early morning news.
On ABC News Live.
next Monday afternoon.
I'm looking up.
All eyes to the sky for a total solar eclipse, a breathtaking celestial event. ABC News, together with National Geographic, with ABC's David Muir and Lindsay Davis reporting. Watch it all on ABC News Live, National Geographic Channel, Nat Geo Wild, Disney Plus, Hulu, and live on ABC. Eclipse across America, next Monday afternoon, starting at 2 p.m. Eastern.
Everything is so fine. Little bit of sunshine. Some more, just a little bit. Breathe more, just a little bit. Smile a little more, and I'm into it. I've been running through the strange life. Pictures on my phone light. Everything is so fine. Little bit of sunshine.
Good morning, America.
Get ready, America, every Friday.
The hottest trends, styles, and must-have. What's the right stuff to buy right now? I really love that. It's time to buy the right stuff.
Yes!
And save big time, too.
The right stuff.
Fridays on GMA. You're going to love it.
Why do so many people start their day here?
From ABC News, this is Start Here.
To be in the know and get a different take on the day's top stories. Start here.
Now, that's a part of the story I bet you didn't see coming.
Make it your daily first listen, wherever you get your podcasts.
A new diet craze called Oat-Zempic. Is it legit or is it just a fad? Where a new minimum wage law is bumping most fast food workers to $20 an hour, and another mega lotto jackpot up for grabs. These stories and much more in tonight's rundown.
It's not Ozempic, it's Oat-Zempic. It's a mix of oats, lime, and water with a sprinkle of cinnamon blended into a meal replacement drink. But it doesn't work like the drugs used for weight loss like Ozempic. Experts warn the meal replacement drink could actually have negative health impacts and should not be started without consulting with a medical specialist. And medical specialists say this oat-based drink will not duplicate the appetite suppression found in medications like Ozempic, but that adding whole grains and fiber to your breakfast could help some people feel full for longer as part of a balanced diet. A terrifying experience on the slopes. High winds left several ski lift chairs flapping in the wind as skiers were panicking dozens of feet above the ground. A skier aboard one of the chairs said he and his friend were hanging on for their lives as wind and snow blinded them during the gusty conditions. It all happened at an Italian ski resort. They said quickly changing weather conditions were to blame, and the ski lift was immediately closed after the incident. No injuries were reported. Japan's 1941 attack on Pearl Harbor, Hawaii, killed more than 2,400 U.S. personnel. Nearly half of them were sailors and Marines aboard the USS Arizona. Days after the surprise attack, the United States declared war on Japan, Germany, and Italy, ushering in a new phase of the global conflict. Lou Conter was a quartermaster aboard the Arizona and the last living survivor of the explosion and sinking of the battleship. His daughter said Conter died Monday at his home in Grass Valley, California. He was 102. Buying a burger at McDonald's, a burrito at Chipotle, or a drink at Starbucks all could be more expensive. Those are among the companies saying prices may go up as a result of the new law in effect today, as most fast food workers in California will now have to be paid at least $20 an hour. Supporters of the law say workers need to make a livable wage in the nation's most populated state. Opponents say it will cost customers more money to pay for the higher wages. The Powerball jackpot has climbed to $1 billion. This past Saturday's Powerball drawing was $935 million. It resulted in 4 tickets winning $1 million each, but no jackpot. This marks the 38th consecutive drawing without a jackpot winner. The last time a winning ticket was drawn in the Powerball jackpot was January 1st of this year. That prize was nearly $850 million. The odds of a winning ticket? Powerball says it's 1 in 292 million.
Are you feeling lucky? There's new hope for people with traumatic spinal cord injuries after a Mayo Clinic study showed promising results through the use of stem cells. ABC's Will Reeve has been tracking this story for 5 years.
Progress against paralysis. Stem cells taken from a patient's own body could improve movement and sensation in people living with paralysis or spinal cord injury, according to findings from phase 1 of a clinical trial at Mayo Clinic released today.
This is a very stubborn disease. These findings give us hope for the future.
The study followed 10 patients and showed that 7 of them had an increase in sensation when lightly touched or pricked and had more strength in certain muscle groups. The remaining 3 patients did not improve or get worse.
This trial shows us that stem cells are safe and potentially beneficial in the treatment of spinal cord injury. This can be a milestone in our field of neurosurgery, neuroscience, and treating patients with a spinal cord injury.
If you push down on my knees, let me blow your mind.
Wow. Whoa. Wow.
One success story is Chris Barr, the first patient in the trial, paralyzed from the neck down in a 2017 surfing accident.
Trying to moonwalk.
I met him at Mayo Clinic in 2019. GMA following his inspiring story of enduring surgery and therapy. He had regained some mobility and sense of touch, only to see his progress stall. It took him nearly a minute to walk just 30 feet. But upon entering this ambitious stem cell trial, Barr's fortunes turned. 15 months after being injected with stem cells from his own stomach, he could cover 30 feet in 23 seconds, and he was eager to show off.
Does it feel good? Does it feel nice to just stand?
Yeah, it does.
Never thought you'd do this again.
I'm telling you.
Today, he's 10 seconds faster, and as I caught up with him, grateful for it all.
This whole intention was originally just to donate my body to science. And, I never dreamed I would have a recovery like this. I can feed myself. I can walk around. I can do day-to-day independent activities.
What does that do for you emotionally and psychologically?
I'm just thrilled that there are people taking bold steps to try and do research to cure this. It's been a wild ride, and it's not over yet.
That is so remarkable in providing hope to so many. Will Reeve, thank you for your reporting. She has clinched 6 Olympic medals and is now hoping to reach young hearts and help adults with difficult conversations with her debut children's book releasing tomorrow in From My Head to My Toes. Olympic gymnast and activist Aly Raisman helps encourage kids to love their bodies and to know their boundaries. Aly Raisman joining us now, and we are so thankful that you're here with us in studio. So your children's book is really an ode to self-love. You have been at the forefront, of course, of advocacy for survivors of abuse. Why did creating this children's book in this format with beautiful illustrations feel compelling to you?
Thank you. I was so excited about the opportunity to write a children's book, and I started this actually several years ago, and now I'm kind of at the stage of life where a lot of my friends are actually having babies. One of my good friends actually had a baby a couple of days ago, so it actually makes it just so even more meaningful and so special. But I'm very passionate about encouraging adults and children to have more dialogue and talk about things that are hard to talk about. I'm very passionate about abuse prevention, but this children's book isn't just about abuse prevention. It's also just about normalizing conversations and encouraging kids. If you feel cold, it's okay to ask if you want to be warmer. If you're feeling sad, it's okay to ask questions. It's okay to ask for help. Just really encouraging kids to trust themselves and to know that whatever they're feeling is real and valid. And I also wanted to try to think about what did I wish that I had when I was younger and how can I try to create that now?
Yeah, and you talk a lot about children knowing who their safe person is. Why is it so critical that children know who is safe and are able to confide in that person?
Yeah, I think that it might seem like a simple concept, a safe person, but it's actually very complicated, or it can be, because safe people, it's not always a one-size-fits-all type of thing. And, I've learned a lot about abuse prevention over the last several years, and it's something that is very, very important to me. When I was younger, I was taught a lot about stranger danger, which is very important, but that happens about 10% of the time. 90% of the time abuse occurs, it's actually with a trusted adult. And about 30% of the time, it's actually within a family that abuse occurs, which is just horrific and so awful. And so also a lot of times abusers thrive on the fact that we're not openly talking about this.
And you drew from your advocacy and from your own personal experience to write this book. What was that process like for you?
I think it's been a really healing experience because it was just really meaningful to be able to work with abuse prevention experts. We work with Darkness to Light and the Monique Burr Foundation to really try to figure out the right way to delicately and sensitively have this conversation with kids, because I know that this is not every child is going to take something different from reading this. Every adult is going to take something different. And I also thought about, you know, maybe there's some survivors that want to make an experience better for a child that they have or they love and care about. And so they're going to be picking up this book. And so I thought a lot about the survivors that are reading this. I want them to feel proud of it. I want it to be meaningful for them.
Did you find it was challenging to delve back into your past and then try to make this a quote-unquote age-appropriate book for kids to learn about their boundaries?
It's so interesting. I feel like out of all the advocacy stuff I've done, I think that this is by far the most enjoyable because it's so fun, and to be able to, I have a kids event in a couple of days and I get to do a reading with kids, and so it's just such a enjoyable and special experience. And because I don't have to like deeply talk about my own personal experience that I've done so much over the last several years, I think it was really healing and just a wonderful experience. And, you know, I had some fun with it. My dog, Milo, is in the book. And just to be able to work with B. Jackson and to be able to just see her talent and it all come to life. I love gardening, so we wanted to incorporate that into it. There's gymnastics in there as well. So we had a lot of fun with it, and I'm really excited to hear the feedback. And I enjoyed it so much that I hope to be able to continue this and do more.
I love that you write, my body is my own, my body is just right for me from my head to my toes. And you, of course, know the rigors of your sport and the pressure on your body. Why was it so important to convey that message to kids, that their body is just right how it is?
Yeah, I think that there's so much pressure in our society, no matter who you are, to be a certain size, to look a certain way, to say the right thing. And I think that especially with social media, there's just so much judgment and so much pressure. And I really wanted kids to know that no matter who you are, you're just right the way that you are, and we're all unique and beautiful in our own way. And I think that it's really important for kids to receive those messages. It's important.
It is definitely important, Allie, and we thank you for being with us here in studio. And of course, From My Head to My Toes is out tomorrow wherever books are sold. What a joy to talk to Allie, and what powerful work she is doing. That's our show for this hour. I'm Ariel Reshef in for Lindsay Davis. Stay tuned to ABC News Live for more context and analysis of the day's top stories. And thanks for streaming with us. And coming up in the next hour, major election upsets across Turkey, handing wins to the country's main opposition party. Also, inside and outside of the ring, Ronda Rousey is a powerhouse who has set records and shattered glass ceilings. My conversation with the top athlete about her revealing new memoir and her personal journey.
News. This is Start Here.
To be in the know and get a different take on the day's top stories.
A lot of news today, so let's get into it.
Listen now to the Daily News Podcast honored with 4 Edward R. Murrow Awards and see why the New York Times calls it a news podcast worth listening to. Start Here, ABC News. Make it your daily first listen.
Now, that's a part of the story I bet you didn't see coming.
Wherever you get your podcasts, Start Here.
It's lunchtime in America, so what are we serving up?
Well, how about everything you need to know?
You know, that sounds pretty good.
Give it to me. Your health, your money, breaking news, pop culture, with the biggest stars, music, trends, and of course, good food. GMA 3, what you need to know. A third hour of GMA in the afternoon.
So join us, Afternoons.
For everything you need to know. I love that. This is ABC News Live.
The crush of families here in Poland.
At refugee centers.
In Putin's Russia.
On the ground in Ukraine.
Close to the front line.
From the capital.
Destructive Cat 4 storm.
You're along I-5. Boston is in the bullseye.
Let's go.
ABC News Live, America's #1 streaming news. Anytime, anywhere. Streaming 24/7, straight to you for free.
Thank you for making ABC News Live America's #1 streaming news.
Real Housewives of Beverly Hills star Erica Jane.
Celebrity attorney Tom Girardi.
This story was a nuclear explosion.
Today, several victims will get a chance to finally meet Erica Girardi.
I'm at sort of a loss for what to say.
Did you see the documentary?
The Housewife and the Hustler? I did.
I wanted Erica to say, I'm sorry, face to face.
Erica, why did it take you so long?
The Housewife and the Hustler 2, only on Hulu.
You should see me in the crowd. Gonna run, there's nothing to hide. Watch me looking down, one by one.
The strongest females fight for the survival of their families. Oh, hey, the queens.
You should see me in a crowd.
Whenever, wherever news breaks, it's so important to always remember that lives are changed. Here in London, in Buffalo, Uvalde, Texas, Edinburgh, Scotland. Reporting from Rolling Fork, Mississippi. Ukrainian refugees here in Warsaw. We're heading to a small community outside of Mexico City. Getting you behind the stories as they happen. ABC News Live Prime. We'll take you there.
Stream ABC News Live weeknights wherever you stream your news. Only on ABC News Live.
Reporting from Monterey Park, California, I'm Robin Roberts. Wherever the story is, we're going to take you there. You're streaming ABC News Live.
Good evening, everyone. This is ABC News Live Prime. I'm Ariel Reshef in for Lindsay Davis. Thanks so much for streaming with us. We've got a lot of news to get to this evening, including 2 decisions involving abortion rights and the major implications both could have in a battleground state this November. Plus, tonight, the Super Bowl champion who may be connected with street racing a Lamborghini on a Dallas highway. And the millions of Americans on alert for tornadoes, damaging winds, and flooding. Rob Marciano times it all out for us. But we begin with that alarming scene outside of Atlanta this afternoon. A driver ramming an SUV into the front gate of the FBI field office there. Officials say the driver refused to stop and tried to follow an authorized vehicle as it entered that gate. Tonight, the driver of that vehicle is in custody as authorities investigate a possible motive. But the incident raising alarms about possible threats to the agency in recent years. ABC's senior national correspondent Steve Osunsami leads us off.
The driver of this orange SUV is in a world of trouble tonight after trying to follow a vehicle into the gates of Atlanta's FBI main office north of the city. It was just after noon, and authorities say the driver with South Carolina plates would not stop, and security had to use a pop-up physical barrier to block the SUV, smashing the vehicle. Guards say the driver got out of the car and was quickly arrested without incident. He was transported to a hospital downtown.
Several of our special agents who were passing by apprehended him. This time we were looking at both state and federal charges.
Authorities at this point don't think that this was terrorism, but the investigation is early and they're still digging. The FBI has been particularly concerned about possible threats to the agency in the last few years.
So it sort of opens the door as to what is this really? Is this an attempt to harm the FBI or someone at the FBI? Is this a person who has mental health challenges, perhaps has substance abuse issues, got disoriented? We'll have to see how this sorts out.
They say that the agents with their robot who are seen here looking through the vehicle and a trunk that was inside the SUV did so as a precaution and found no weapons and no explosives. They say no one was hurt.
Still so many questions. Our thanks to Steve Osunsami. Now to that major spring storm on the move tonight. 40 million Americans from Texas to West Virginia face the threat of hail, tornadoes, and flooding. Severe storms causing flash flooding in Montecito, California, and washing out part of the Pacific Coast Highway before heading east. Senior meteorologist Rob Marciano is tracking that system. And Rob, time this out for us.
Well, that system, Ariel, as you know, is really developing into something that's going to bring some dangerous weather to much of the Midwest and into the Northeast, really, over the next 60-plus hours. We've got tornado watches that are posted. Several of them right now include St. Louis. We got flood watches to our east, and then down and through northern parts of Texas. This system will intensify tonight. It'll crank up the level jet, and that's when the tornado watch or threat will increase. Oklahoma City, Kansas City, and here in St. Louis. And then tomorrow, kind of a northern jet dips in, amplifies everything. It's going to push the rain off towards the northeast again. It'll stretch the severe weather threat and damaging hail and damaging winds down all the way to the Gulf Coast. But the tornado threat looks to be centered right around much of Ohio. Strong, long-track tornadoes possible tomorrow afternoon and evening. Another dangerous day. And then on Wednesday, it all develops into this massive cold core system, which means snow will be wrapping around and through parts of Chicago. Probably not much in the way of accumulation there. Cold rain in New York on Wednesday, and then turning to snow as far south as New York City. Maybe, a couple of flakes there, but a couple of feet, potentially, across upstate New York and northern New England come Friday morning. But for now, Ariel, all eyes are in the Midwest tonight and tomorrow for the potential of dangerous storms coming.
Definitely
Ariel?
have to remain vigilant, Rob, and I am done with the snow. I don't know about you. It's not done with us yet. Thank you.
You bet.
Now to breaking news out of Florida. The state Supreme Court, in a major ruling, has paved the way for the state's new 6-week abortion ban to go into effect. But the court also signaled they will give voters the final say on the matter in November. Let's bring in ABC's Rachel Scott. And Rachel, this could have major implications for the presidential election in November.
Yeah, Ariel, it certainly could. So these were two separate decisions. On one hand, you had the Florida State Supreme Court clearing the way for one of the strictest abortion bans in the nation to go into effect, banning abortion at just 6 weeks into a woman's pregnancy. That is before most women even know that they are pregnant. And then on the other hand, that same court issuing a decision that will put this issue directly on the ballot for voters in November, allowing Florida voters to weigh in and decide whether they want to protect access to abortion up until viability, which is considered to be around 24 weeks into a woman's pregnancy. As you said, this could have major political implications. We know that abortion rights has won in all 6 states where it has appeared on the ballot, including in conservative states like Ohio, Kansas, and Kentucky. And that raises real questions about whether Florida could now be in play for President Biden, Ariel.
Yeah, and Rachel, let's talk about the real concerns for so many women in Florida tonight. Abortions are all but banned, and that's the reality across the entire South. So serious high stakes here.
High stakes indeed. And look, the reality is that even though this is not an outright ban, the new reality for women in this state is that if they want an abortion, they are going to have to drive hundreds of miles in order to get one. And that's if they can afford to even travel out of state. So many women that are living in parts of this state do not even have the means for that even to be an option. And when you look at the map to see just how many states have banned abortion, there is now sweeping restrictions across much of the South, Ariel.
Rachel, I know you've been talking to women across this country and will continue to do so. We appreciate you. Thanks so much. Moving on now to former President Donald Trump's media company losing $2 billion in value on paper after it was revealed how much the company lost last year. Just days after going public, the stock falling 20% today, and the warning about its future. ABC's senior investigative correspondent Aaron Katursky covers this for us.
Tonight, stock in Donald Trump's media company tanking after Trump's social media platform Truth Social reported losing $58 million last year. The company was valued at nearly $10 billion after it went public last week as Trump supporters rushed to scoop up shares.
The stock has gone through the roof, and really this is, I think in the true sense, this is really it's a great sign of where the people in this country stand.
Trump's own majority stake then worth close to $6 billion.
Truth Social is doing very well. It's hot as a pistol and doing great.
But today, that rude awakening, the revelation of last year's losses sent the stock plunging more than 20% and the value of Trump's own stake losing more than $1 billion.
And now to the race to open the Patapsco River after the collapse of the Key Bridge in Baltimore. Welders over the weekend cutting away a 200-ton piece of that bridge, then successfully lifting it off. 50 ships, including 7 floating cranes, are working on the response. ABC senior national correspondent Terry Moran is on the scene.
Tonight, perched on giant cranes above the collapsed bridge and using powerful thermal saws, demolition crews cut and removed the first major piece of debris, more than 200 tons, 440,000 pounds.
We're talking about something that is almost the size of the Statue of Liberty.
The crews must painstakingly clear the entire span of the destroyed Francis Scott Key Bridge, piece by piece. But officials are now saying that under those murky waters, divers can't see a foot in front of them. And with the chaotic wreckage, all that mangled, intertwined steel above and below the waterline, the site is a safety nightmare.
Every time someone goes in the water, they are taking a risk. Every time we move a piece of the structure, the situation could become even more dangerous. We have to move fast, but we cannot be careless.
And that's actually just a small step forward in this monumental operation. Another milestone, workers opened a temporary 11-foot deep shipping channel, clearing a path for emergency and some small commercial vessels to use the harbor again.
A shred of good news there. Our thanks to Terry for his reporting. And Kansas City Chiefs wide receiver Rashee Rice is part of a police investigation after a chain reaction crash was caught on camera. It showed the driver and passengers in both vehicles leaving the scene. ABC's Maria Villarreal has the details from Dallas.
tonight, dash camera video capturing this high-speed crash on a Dallas highway.
You have two subjects that fled from the scene.
Now, Kansas City Chiefs wide receiver Rashee Rice is being sought in connection with the accident, according to Dallas ABC station WFAA sources. The 23-year-old recently won the Super Bowl and was a second-round draft pick last year. Two drivers, one in a Corvette and one in a Lamborghini, seen speeding, hitting the center median and losing control Saturday evening. A cascade of hits involving 6 vehicles, 4 people treated for minor injuries, including Kayla Quinn and her 4-year-old son.
The impact was pretty hard. I got hit on my driver's side. My son, he's very scared. He's shaking uncontrollably.
Authorities say the occupants of the Corvette and Lamborghini all ran from the scene without stopping to determine if anyone needed medical help. TMZ Sports sharing this photo as they walk down the busy highway shoulder. Sources telling ABC News the Corvette is registered under Rice's name and some of his NFL gear was allegedly found inside. According to Texas law, leaving the scene of an accident involving injury could be a crime.
They all walked off together, which means there was a relationship between the two cars. So that may also add to the element or seriousness of the charges.
Our thanks to Mireya for her reporting. And tonight, authorities are investigating the death of 35-year-old former NFL star Vontae Davis in Davie, Florida, outside of Miami. Police say he was found dead in his home, possibly suffering a medical emergency. They do not suspect foul play at this point, and 2-time Pro Bowler, cornerback. He played 10 seasons, mostly with the Dolphins and the Colts. He retired at halftime of a game while playing for the Bills in 2018. Now to the search for 2 Oklahoma mothers who vanished on the way to pick up their children. The car they were driving was found abandoned about 40 miles away from their destination. Authorities believe those women are in danger. ABC's Victor Oquendo has the latest.
Tonight, the urgent search along the Kansas-Oklahoma border for 2 missing mothers who vanished the day before Easter while driving to pick up children.
They're gone. And nobody knows where they exactly went.
39-year-old Jillian Kelly, the wife of a pastor at First Christian Church in Hugoton, Kansas, was traveling with 27-year-old Veronica Butler. According to Butler's church, the 2 women were on their way to get Butler's children for a birthday party, but they never made the pickup.
It appears that this was not a willing incident on their own to have taken off. It looks to be that there's something more involved.
Butler's blue Kia found abandoned on the side of the road about 40 miles away in rural Texas County, Oklahoma.
There's every reason to believe that they could be in danger.
At an Easter service, prayers for their safe return.
We're going to wrap our arms around the Kelly family. We're going to love them. Lord, we lift up Jillian, we lift up Veronica, we pray for their safety.
Thinking of those mothers, and our thanks to Victor. We head overseas where Iran is blaming Israel for an attack that killed 2 top generals at a consulate in Damascus. This as 4 foreign aid workers for the World Central Kitchen were killed delivering food in northern Gaza, and mass protests continue in Israel demanding the return of the hostages. ABC's Britt Clennett is in Israel tonight.
Tonight, Iran claiming it was an Israeli airstrike that reduced its consulate building to rubble in Damascus, Syria, killing 2 top Iranian military commanders. Officials say at least 7 people died as emergency responders sifted through the twisted metal looking for survivors. The multi-story building next to the embassy left in smoking ruins, reportedly hit by 6 missiles from Israeli warplanes. Iran vowing to respond tonight as tensions with Israel escalate. This as Israeli leader Benjamin Netanyahu faces the largest protest since the start of the war.
The passionate cries from the protesters calling for an election and for Netanyahu to step down.
The demonstrations at times tense, protesters clashing with officers. Some hostage families, like the grandson of Chaim Perry, taking part to voice their frustration at Netanyahu.
Do you think he will step down?
No, of course not. He's clutching the seat, his throne, and that's why we're fighting here, because he's not willing to go down.
Our thanks to Britt tonight. Still much more to get to here on Prime. Coming up, the world's oldest monarchy makes its formal debut on Instagram. Plus, a force to be reckoned with. Ronda Rousey, one of the world's most famous fighters, shares a look inside her life as an athlete, an author, and a mom.
Whenever news breaks,
we are here in Israel, a nation at war after that brutal surprise attack by Hamas.
On the ground in Ukraine, reporting from Lewiston, Maine.
The scene of a horrific mass shooting.
ABC News Live is right there everywhere.
From the scene of that deadly missile strike in Dnipro, Ukraine.
Reporting from the earthquake in Turkey.
In Rolling Fork, this tornado tore through this little town.
From the most devastating disaster in Hawaii.
From Charleston, South Carolina, on the 2024 campaign trail.
In Iceland, let's go.
Traveling with the president in Mexico City.
Wherever the story.
From the front lines.
From southern Israel.
Outside the Gaza Strip. In Beirut. From the FBI.
Reporting from the nurses on the picket line.
Here at 10 Downing Street in London. Streaming live to you.
Wherever the story is.
Wherever the story is.
Wherever the story is. We're going to take you there.
You're streaming.
ABC News Live.
ABC News Live.
You're streaming ABC News Live.
ABC News Live. Streaming free everywhere. America's #1 streaming news.
Everything is so fine, little bit of sunshine. Some more, just a little bit. Breathe more, just a little bit. Smile a little more, and I'm into it. I've been running through the strange life. Pictures on my phone, like everything is so fine. Little bit of sunshine.
Good morning, America.
What does it take to be the most watched newscast in America?
We are part of an operation.
Is this our combat operations center?
We're approaching the gate. Militants came in from different directions. Nuclear reactor. So you have a couple loaded and ready to go. The house is destroyed, but the flag.
Not a tear in it.
How important it made the USA.
Great work.
Hi. Appreciate you.
Thank you.
Ismail?
David.
David.
I'm David Muir.
I know who you are.
You
Watch
do?
you every night.
ABC's World News Tonight with David Muir is America's most watched newscast.
I'm Aaron Katursky at the Trump Building on Wall Street. Wherever the story is, we'll take you there. You're streaming ABC News Live.
We are tracking several headlines around the world. Turkey's main opposition party retaining its control over key cities in Sunday's local elections, dealing a major blow to President Erdogan, who hoped to regain control of urban areas. Some experts say the outcome signals the populist leader and his ruling party will pursue a path of, quote, normalization, which includes soothing ties with NATO allies like the U.S. Erdogan has presided over Turkey for more than 2 decades. He acknowledged the electoral setback by saying the people delivered a message. Venezuela is battling a record number of wildfires, according to new data, as climate change-driven drought plagues the Amazon rainforest region. Satellites registered more than 30,000 fires over the last 3 months, the highest level for that period since records started 25 years ago. Japan's royal family is now on Instagram as the world's oldest monarchy tries to shake off their reclusive image in an effort to reach out to the younger generation. In a debut photo, the emperor and empress were seen sitting on a sofa with their 22-year-old daughter on New Year's. It was the first of a flurry of posts that included 60 photos so far. Images are limited to official duties and do not include private or candid moments. She has been described as the world's most dominant athlete, knocking out barriers and setting records. In her new memoir, Our Fight, UFC and WWE champion Ronda Rousey chronicles her journey to the top and back from her lowest point as she reflects on the losses and the lessons experienced along the way. And joining us now is UFC Hall of Famer Ronda Rousey. Thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you for having me and for such a kind introduction.
Oh, no, it is a pleasure. And I read a lot of this book over the weekend. I was gripped by it. You are already a best-selling author. You have dabbled in acting. You are obviously a Hall of Famer. What made you want to come out and write this book now? I know you say you wanted to be in your own words.
Yeah, I just had so many things I couldn't talk about until now, namely my concussion history, where in my judo career, out of like 10 years, I had concussion symptoms more often than not. This was before all the research about CTE and everything was out. And so by the time that I got into MMA, every time you get a concussion, it's easier to get another one. And I quickly discovered in MMA, any kind of significant strike, I'd be seeing stars, getting concussion symptoms. So I had to develop a system of fighting that was more efficient than anything that had ever been seen before, just so I would not get touched at all, because I just knew I couldn't take that kind of damage. And it just continued to get worse and worse. You know, I had matches that I was winning in less than a minute, 16, 14 seconds. But there's 50 rounds of sparring that goes into every one of those matches. And it started to get to the point where, like, the lightest jabs or touches were giving me concussion symptoms. And then it all came to a head right before the home fight. I slipped down some stairs, knocked myself out, tore out my knee, went into that match already concussed, and had the wrong mouth guard. It was like the terrible, horrible, no good, very bad day.
Confluence of bad factors, yeah.
Yeah, my mouth guard didn't have like a back to the bottom teeth, and the first time I got touched, all my bottom teeth got knocked loose, and I was completely out on my feet and concussed, and I basically, like, it's hard to describe what it's like. It's like you have photo vision, like someone just took a picture of you, like there's big splotches in your vision, and like the world is like two-dimensional, like you can't see distance between things. And so the whole fight, I was just trying to come forward, because I can't really go backward.
Do you feel like your industry took the concussion seriously enough at the time?
I think they did, so much so that I didn't want to say anything to my coach or Dana about it, because I thought they would make me stop. And I wasn't ready to stop. I thought I could just continue to be perfect forever, that I could continue to win without being touched forever.
One of the things that is so touching about this book is your vulnerability. You see this beautiful picture of you on the back of your book with your daughter in an embrace. How has motherhood changed this chapter of your life?
It's just changed my perspective on so many things and so many frivolous things that I would let myself be consumed with. She doesn't let me, and she puts in perspective what's really important, and that's her. And it's hard for me to like ruminate and dwell on things when I'm getting like puked on and getting my hair pulled, and also like the cutest thing I've ever seen is happening in front of me at the same time. So she forces me to be in the present, which is what I learned is what I need to appreciate the most.
It seems like nature has such a central role for you in healing. I know that in the book you talk about how your husband whisked you away to a campsite when you were at your lowest point. So has farming sort of brought out some resilience in you and a different side of you?
I think it's just, it's something that's self-validating, and it makes me happy without anyone having to see it and appreciate it. And it's nothing that I feel like I'm pandering to anyone or trying to impress anyone. I'm just trying to make these animals' day a little bit better, their lives better, and give them a life worth living, and feed my family and help the land that they're on. And it's just a virtuous circle where it's just the act in itself is a reward.
I can't let you go without asking what comes next. Now you have 2 books, you're a multi-hyphenate in so many industries. What's next?
Oh, God. We get into it in the book a little bit, because I wrote this and the first one with my sister. I've gotten like more into creative writing and stuff like that. So I started writing like screenplays just for fun. My mom would write fantasy novels as a hobby since forever, and would give them to us to read. And it was such like a fascinating insight into her. And you read that, and you're like, oh my God, this is so Mom. And so I've started writing a lot creatively. I'm an intern at the WME story department, where I like read and write coverages of scripts and things. And my first comic book is coming out soon, and it's just stuff that I really enjoy, and I'm a big nerd for. And it's not something to impress anybody, but the act in itself is so rewarding for me, so I do it.
Well, thank you so much. You're such a beacon of strength for so many out there. Ronda Rousey's book, Our Fight, her memoir, is out tomorrow. I suggest you go and get it. We want to turn to some breaking news now. Former President Donald Trump has secured a $175 million bond in his New York civil fraud case. Trump secured the bond through Knight Specialty Insurance Company. Last Monday, a panel of judges from New York's appellate division granted the former president, his adult sons, and 2 former Trump Organization executives a 10-day stay of the $464 million judgment in their civil fraud case, and permitted them to post a reduced bond of $175 million Let's bring in senior investigative correspondent Aaron Katersky with more. Aaron, I know you've been following this. So what does this mean both for Trump and also his sons and the others involved in this case?
Primarily, it means their assets are not going to be seized at the end of the week by the New York Attorney General, Ariel. Posting the bond guarantees that Trump can pay at least a portion of a civil fraud judgment that runs to nearly $500 million. And the appeals court allowed Trump to guarantee that judgment with a reduced but still hefty $175 million bond. And according to a court filing, Trump was able to secure that bond through a Los Angeles-based surety, Knight Specialty Insurance Company, and we don't know what he had to put up as collateral, but likely it's quite a substantial amount of cash. And Trump's lawyers had said that he could cobble together maybe $100 million in cash, but certainly couldn't afford anything more. So we don't know what else he may have put up as collateral.
I know you will continue to follow this as you have every step of the way. Aaron Katersky, our thanks to you. And still to come here on Prime, meet the women changing the game as they take key roles in major college football programs. That is up next.
Why do so many people start their day here?
From ABC News, this is Start Here.
To be in the know and get a different take on the day's top stories.
A lot of news today, so let's get into it.
Listen now to the Daily News Podcast honored with 4 Edward R. Murrow Awards and see why the New York Times calls it a news podcast worth listening to. Start Here, ABC News. Make it your daily first listen.
Now, that's a part of the story I bet you didn't see coming.
Wherever you get your podcasts, Start Here.
People really want to know what it feels like to be a photographer.
Right shoulder down. There we go.
It's this yin-yang of danger and this incredible raw beauty.
That's his first breath. That's so cool.
All right, this is it.
These moments that you immortalize makes a lot of difference.
There's a masterpiece everywhere.
You should see me in the crowd. Gonna run this nothing down. Watch me looking down. One by one.
The strongest females fight for the survival of their families.
One by one.
Oh, hey, the queens.
You should see me in the crowd.
What does it take to be the most watched newscast in America?
We are part of an operation.
Is this our combat operations center?
We're approaching the gate. Militants came in from different directions. Nuclear reactor. So you have a couple loaded and ready to go. The house is destroyed, but the flag...
Not a carry,
How important it made the USA.
Great work.
Hi. Appreciate you.
Thank you.
Ismael? David.
I'm David Muir.
I know who you are.
You
Watch
do?
you every night.
ABC's World News Tonight with David Muir is America's most watched newscast.
And finally tonight, we head to Toledo, Ohio to visit Bowling Green State University, where women lead the sports medicine and operations departments. They are 2 women with critical roles within the program. Reporter Lisa Guyton from our partner station 13 Action News has a local lowdown.
We bring a different perspective. We have a little bit different mindset with some things. We can see things a little differently.
When you look around spring football practice for the Bowling Green Falcons, there are plenty of women at work. And that is by design.
We've got a lot of great women in this program.
BG head coach Scott Loeffler says Damaris Linker is one of them.
Every facet of our program she's a part of. She gets to make sure that I follow directions. Not always easy, but she's really good at what she does.
Damaris is the director of football operations for the team.
I do everything except on-field coaching and go out on the road recruiting. So I do all of our team travel, organize all of our team meals, really am the liaison to every department that touches our program. So that's academics, marketing, game day operations, compliance.
Danny Kappas is the team's head athletic trainer, a job held by a growing number of women in college football programs.
Things are evolving in a good way because women are involved. And I think it's kind of made our care a little more well-rounded. It's not just about the nuts and bolts of timelines, of return to play, of the injury. You know, a lot of it is, well, how is he doing mentally? Where's his head at? You know, how is he feeling?
Coach Loeffler says there's huge value in having a number of different voices at the table, and Danny's voice is a powerful one.
Being able to walk into a staff room and say, hey, listen, I don't care what you think. He's hurt, he's out, and she's the voice. Whatever she says goes. It's very fun to watch Danny and Damaris on a daily basis.
The women say it's been a level playing field at BG, and they're grateful for the opportunities. The two are focused on reaching back and inspiring the next generation.
Take chances, ask questions, volunteer, get involved. You're never going to know if you like something until you try it.
You're showing them that it is possible, no matter who you are, where you come from, that if you work hard, you put the time in, and you're good and you know your stuff, that those doors can open for you too.
A girl power show tonight, and I am into it. I'm Ariel Reshef, in for Lindsay Davis. ABC News Live is with you for all of your latest news and context and analysis. You can always find us on Hulu, Roku, Pluto TV, the ABC News app, and of course on abcnews.com. Have a great night.
This is ABC News Live.
To crush a family.